Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatir Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naish Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gauravakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay. We will continue from chapter 2, verse 23. Can you mute yourself if you are not speaking? Okay, I'm muting.
Fruits or milk?
Hare Krishna. Please mute yourself. Rupa Mataji, can you please mute yourself? Okay. Okay, so far in chapter 2, we've actually, this is a very, very important chapter so far. So the two main aspects that we have heard so far. One is about supreme occupation, how we should do our occupational duty, that one should not live for sense gratification, one should not live for material benefit. Even if there's material benefit, one should not use it for sense gratification and everything. And if our vritti doesn't allow us to develop attraction to hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, then such a occupation should be given up. The whole idea of varnashrama, of everything, is samsiddhir haritoshanam, is to please Hari. And then we also yesterday we heard about the glories of hearing Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, and how Bhagavatam is so powerful that by regularly serving Śrīmad Bhagavatam, actually we will come to the stage of Nishtha Bhakti. Then all our Rajas and Tamas, Rajoguna and Tamoguna influences will come to an end. We will then become in goodness. Then we will come to Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness. Then we will realize Lord. So it's a very simple yet extremely powerful process. So first thing that we have to do as practical guidance from this is to make sure that we do Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If we have not finished Bhagavad Gita, then we have to first read Bhagavad Gita, finish Bhagavad Gita. Then we should start Bhagavatam. If we have read Bhagavad Gita, then we read Bhagavatam, but parallelly we should at least read one verse of Bhagavad Gita every day. Because Bhagavad Gita philosophy is the foundational for us, and it takes us years to actually, remember all the instructions in Bhagavad Gita. So that also has to continue. But without this Shravanam process, we cannot get over our Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna, which are actually what are pulling us down. When we think about why we are not making spiritual progress, is because of our Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. So Rajaguna and Tamoguna has to be curbed, but we are under their control. So how can we do it? By the power of devotion and service. Okay, so we will move forward from here. Sattvam rajastama iti prakritergunasteyukta parapurusha eka ihasya dhatte stityadaye harivirinchi hareti sangna shreyamsi tatra kalu sattvatanodnunam syuh. The transcendental personality of Godhead is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, namely passion, goodness, and ignorance. And just for the material world's creation, maintenance, and destruction, he accepts the three qualitative forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, the form of the quality of goodness. So now Shukadev Goswami is saying that how one has to come to the mode of goodness. One has to worship Vishnu, because worship of Vishnu happens in the mode of goodness. And here we can understand that we indirectly associate with the personality of Godhead through the modes, meaning whatever is there in this material world is all Vishnu. There is all Krishna, nothing apart from Krishna. So even for these three modes of passion, goodness, and ignorance, Lord himself accepts three forms. Hare Krishna, somebody is not muting. Okay. So Lord actually accepts these three incarnations of Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Actually, incarnations, because these are called Guna Avataras. And Brahma is a Jiva. Brahma is the most qualified Jiva in the material world, who has lived perfect Varnashrama Dharma for 100 lifetimes. He becomes Brahma. Now, Shiva is neither a Jiva nor Vishnu. So we know that he's this special position. It is called Shiva Tattva. Brahma is Jiva Tattva. Shiva is Shiva Tattva. And Vishnu is Vishnu. When we say Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, this Vishnu is the Kshirodakashaya Vishnu, who is the third expansion of the Purusha, which we will talk about. So all these three are expansions of the Supreme Lord, right? So Brahma is Gunavatara, though he's a Jiva, and Shiva and Vishnu also are avatars. Position of Shiva is very special, that we will discuss later when Prachetas meet Shiva. So we'll discuss in greater detail. Of these three, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, form of quality of goodness. So this is very clear, because there's nobody else who can actually take us out of this material world. Though actually by benediction of Vishnu, Shiva and Parvati can also give liberation. That is why, in Kashi, anybody who leaves their body in Kashi, because Shiva takes the name of Rama in the ears of the person who is leaving his body, they get, it is said actually in Shastra, it is said that Shiva and Parvati have been given that power to give. But that also is coming from Vishnu only. It's not independent of. So all human beings can derive ultimate benefit. We can get other benefits by going to demigods, other demigods, Brahma, or other demigods. But ultimate benefit is only from Vishnu. Okay. 1:24. Parthiva daruno dhumas tasmadagnistrayimaya tamasastu rajastasmad sattvam yad brahma darshanam. Firewood is a transformation of earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood. So firewood is a transformation of earth. So there's earth, from earth comes wood, but better than wood is smoke. But fire is still better. Better than smoke is fire. For by fire we can derive benefits of superior knowledge through Vedic sacrifices. Similarly, passion is better than ignorance, but goodness is best because by goodness one can come to realize the absolute truth. Okay, so here clearly the verse is stating that one has to come to one has to rise to the platform of mode of goodness for one to become eligible for devotional service. Because Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati tamas sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So that bhakti, that parabhakti, we get only when we come to Brahma Bhuta platform. So right now we are not having parabhakti, which means that we are doing Mishra Bhakti, we are doing Karma Yoga, we are doing all kinds of hodgepodge. But only when we come to Brahma Bhuta, we will actually get devotional service, pure devotional. So for Brahma Bhuta means Brahman platform, which is Sattva Guna. Now, obviously, we have to come to Sattva Guna, but we are stuck in Rajoguna and Tamoguna. One of the, what is advised is that one has to practice Sattva Guna. Meaning, why we have to read about all these gunas? We read about all these gunas in Bhagavad Gita, also in Bhagavatam. Kapil Dev talks about us. Why? Because we have to understand under which mode we are controlled by which mode. What is our prakriti? What is our swabhava, materials of nature, and then understand how we can overcome those. And this is part of the rules and regulations of bhakti that we should try to follow. Saying that so this the gunas we should know. Okay, if we are under the influence of tamas, then we should give up. We should give up the modes. We should give up the tamas, and we should give up activities of tamas. Like for example, somebody is too used to sleeping whenever they have free time. Somehow we should give up that up. How do we give that up? Not by material endeavor, but by spiritual endeavor, which means that in that time when we are feeling sleepy or we are lazing, then we take up some aspect of devotional service which attracts us, right? So we have to figure out where we are stuck, and we have to bring in aspect of bhakti so that we have to transcend, we have to move from tamoguna to rajoguna to sattva. So one aspect is that we have to make an effort, a very concrete, structured effort. Not like many times I hear this devotees are feel very helpless about their situation. Yes, I mean it is true that when we are under the control of the modes, we are helpless. But the power of bhakti is so powerful that it can transcend. It can help Jiva transcend all these modes. So we should not think that our modes or our conditioning is more powerful than bhakti. Bhakti is super powerful. We have to just take shelter of bhakti. So that is why here Prabhupada is further saying that, but if there are impediments on the progressive path, anyone, even from the platform of tamas, can gradually rise to sattva platform by the expert direction of spiritual master. Sincere candidates must therefore approach an expert spiritual master for such a progressive march. And the bona fide expert spiritual master is competent to direct a disciple from any stage of life, tamas, rajas, or sattva. See, but here we should understand this. If there are impediments, one can gradually raise by expert direction of spiritual master. But what does this expert direction of spiritual master mean? Today in ISKCON, I mean, anybody who gets initiated, it's very difficult to have access to their guru. But of course, I mean, it also depends. For example, I mean, for me, when I got initiated, this was my primary criteria. I said, I want to get initiated from a guru who has time for me, who is available. Right? Because it is important. Many times we get stuck. So, 2-3 things to consider here. First is Guru also means Acharya. So reading Prabhupada's books, knowing what Prabhupada is saying in his, purports, trying to apply them in our life. Number one, that we should do. Number two, hearing from Guru and his mood and how he is trying to serve, what are his instructions, knowing them. First of all, we should know them before we can follow them. So we should know them and then we should try to follow. The third is that whenever we are stuck, sometimes we are badly stuck. When we are not very badly stuck, then we should have mentors who can, who are devotees who are more progress than us, who can help us get over those situations in life. But when we are badly stuck, we should go to the spiritual master. Or when we are taking very important decisions in life, we should go to the spiritual master. Go meaning whatever, email, some way of communication. Personally, if you can get darshan and speak, get his instructions, directions, then nothing like it. But it's not lip service. Initiation is not lip service. Initiation doesn't mean that, okay, ho gaya, I got a name, I got, Tulsi Mala, and then I'm done. Now I have nothing. There's no relationship between me and my Guru except I chant his pranam mantra 3 times a day. No, this is not initiation. Right? So if we do this, follow this, like I said, following instructions of Srila Prabhupada, instructions of Guru, then having somebody who can guide us, mentor, and being able to approach Guru in terms of in important scenarios, we will definitely move from tamas to rajas to sattva. Actually, if we just follow 1 and 2, we will move, which is applying instructions of Prabhupada, applying instructions of Guru in our life. We will move because that is proven process. We will move from rajas to tamas to sattva, tamas to rajas to sattva. But we have deep-rooted anarthas from previous lives, right? So sometimes we get stuck. Some things will take more time than others. Then we need help of, senior devotees who can help us. And in very difficult situations, we should approach the spiritual master. But bhakti and the process of bhakti is so powerful that we don't have to wait to develop these qualities in some other way and then say, okay, now I will start bhakti. So we will practice sadhana bhakti in whatever mode we are in. That is why Kapil Muni tells Devahuti that there is devotional service in mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, based on the mode of the practitioner. Devotional service is not in any mode. Based on the mode of the practitioner, we can say this person is practicing devote bhakti in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion. But the surrendering process, see, that is why this whole aspect of Tivra Bhakti, I keep highlighting every now and then, is unless we take these things seriously, we will not make progress. Many times I've heard this saying, हाँ चलता है, कुछ भी चलता है. कुछ भी चलता है, we cannot make serious progress. We can make lukewarm progress. We're definitely better than people who are not in touch with bhakti, but that's still lip service. That's still lip service. We should be serious about it. And the process is so powerful. It's not like we have to struggle. Literally, we don't have to struggle. If you stick to this process, follow it, we will make tremendous progress and we can experience it. And Prabhupada is further saying here that tamas is life of lower animals. Too much of sleeping, indolence, inactivity, laziness, animals, lower animals, life of lower animals. Passion is passion for material benefits. Dil mange mode, ye chahiye, wo chahiye, not this, that. This is mode of passion. But Prabhupada is saying the Rajas state is still better because it gives a slight clue to realization of the absolute truth. How? In the form of finer sentiments in life. What are finer sentiments? Like philosophy, art, culture, moral principles, ethical principles. These, because in tamas, the lower animal life, they don't have any sense of philosophy, art, culture, moral, ethical principles. But in Rajas, people will have this, which is good because it gives a slight clue, meaning that there is something higher than just bestial, animalistic life. right? But the mode of goodness is still higher, and it can only help us realize absolute truth. So as devotees, we have to come to mode of goodness. So sama, dama, titiksha, arjava, all these qualities we have to develop. Tolerance, mind control, so all these things we have to develop. Develop means, like I said again, it's not a separate endeavor, but we have to do Tivra Bhakti with the focus first to come to Sattva Guna, come to Brahma Bhuta. So we should have goals, we should have desires when we are practicing devotional service. If we are just doing mechanical devotional service, then we're not going to get anywhere. So we should have desires. Okay, Krishna, I want to, like Krishna in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It's so beautiful. I mean, he's tell how we can become dear to him. And when I read each and every of those characteristics, I feel, oh, I'm so far from this. Then there's desire in my heart saying that, okay, but I want to develop this character. I want to become dear. Then that becomes inspiration for practice of bhakti, saying that, okay, this is my next milestone. We are all very used to milestones, right? Corporate world, life, we say, I want to do this, do this. The same thing with devotional life. In fact, this is more exciting. Actually, Prabhupada sometimes says the life of a devotee is very exciting, adventurous, because we don't know how Krishna will, mold our life, change our path. No, we should just do the work of desiring something, might be 10 steps away ahead of us, but we will desire. Then we keep looking at our life. Oh, okay, how Krishna is molding my life, how Krishna is maneuvering me so that I can achieve that, reach that. And of course, then in the process, we will go through difficulties, we might experience problems. But all that is for us to help us reach that goal. If we surrender to Guru at the time of initiation, then all our karma is destroyed. Today I was hearing 6th Canto, Vritrasura. Just by hearing the episode of Vritrasura, we are delivered of all sins. So many, this, benefit of hearing Bhāgavatam. Many places it is said one gets rid of all sinful reactions. It's not an exaggeration. If you have sincerely heard, then we've actually got rid of our sinful reactions. Which means then whatever seems to appear in our life as sinful reactions is just Lord's mercy to help us make progress. We should have faith in this. We should have faith in this. Okay. So we should come to mode of goodness. So that is an important, very important. So another important thing is we are too much in this time. We load our life with activities. It's not good. Like yesterday I was saying, if you load our life with material activities, then our chanting is nothing but mind jumping from one aspect to another of our material activities. So we should, we should not just be passionate and run around like, lack of better word, headless chicken. We should do only as much as required, not get too engrossed in material activities, and keep as much time as possible for spiritual activities. And spiritual activities, initially, if we are in Rajoguna, we might do bhakti in Rajoguna, which is okay. Because it will bring us to Sattva-guna. But we should fill our day more with activities of Krishna consciousness, as bare minimum as required of material activity. Bare minimum, when I say, we should know what is required and we should engage in those activities, not more, not less. Verse 25. Bhejire munayotagre bhagavantam madokshajam sattvam vishuddham kshemaya kalpante ye nutan iha. Previously, all the great sages rendered service unto the personality of Godhead due to his existence above the three modes of material nature. The Supreme Lord transcends all these modes. They worshipped him to become free from material conditions and thus derive the ultimate benefit. Whoever follows such great authorities is also eligible for liberation from material world. So two things are being said here. One is worshipping the Supreme Lord will free us from material conditions. Second, because great authorities had followed Mahajanayana Gatasya Panta, we also have to follow this. So if we simply follow the process, we will achieve perfection. Right? But we have to know, so we should not speculate. Many times, we end up speculating the process of bhakti. Something we will add our own masala. Not required. We don't have to add our masala. Srila Prabhupada came and gave a whole process, perfect process. We don't have, for example, process of chanting. Prabhupada said simply hear and chant. That's all. Chant, pronounce all the names properly, hear with attention. And he said, develop love for chanting, develop love for name of Krishna. That's all. Many times devotees want to know, how do we talk more about chanting? That's all. If we can see, actually, one of the things for us is when things are given, simple process is given, we want to try and complicate it. Just think about it, trying to focus on 10 things at a time versus trying to focus on simple 2-3 instructions, which is easier. It's always easier to simply try and follow those three instructions. What is the 3 instructions? Chant, pronounce names properly, hear with attention, try to develop love for the holy name. 3 instructions. Day in, day out, every mantra, only these 3 things should be coming to our head. We don't need anything more for us to, improve our chanting. And so when authorities have given, it might look very simple for us, but it's powerful, it works. So we should not doubt. We should simply accept the process. And we don't have to become innovative about these things. And, in the middle, devotee say, no, I keep looking at the photo of the Lord and I chant. Prabhupada never said that. Prabhupada, you suppose a mind distracts, we can be sitting in front of the Lord. So when we see the Lord, suddenly it helps us to bring the mind back. But when we bring the mind back, we again have to engage in the same process, Shravanam Kirtanam, not Mananam. Some devotees say, no, I'm chanting and I'm thinking about pastimes of the Lord. No, that is not the process. Automatically, when we come to the perfection of chanting, pastimes will be revealed, not thinking, not mental. That is spiritual. Thinking about pastimes of Lord is mental process. But when the pastimes get revealed to us, then that is a spiritual process. So we should not mix mental process with spiritual process. So simply we should follow the simple 2-3 instructions that have been given and we will achieve success. Don't have to try and be innovative about everything. We have to be innovative about how we can. Prabhupada said, what is realization? Realization means how we can effectively, in a way that can appeal to the audience, present the subject matter without deviation. The subject matter, the core of the subject matter has to be presented. For example, say one subject matter, if you are talking to children, we might have to talk in a different way. For youngsters, teenagers, in a different way. Youth, in a different way. Adults in a different way. Old people in a different way. That is realization. But subject matter doesn't change. That this material world is dukkhalayam, we cannot sugarcoat it. It is dukkhalayam. Krishna has very straightforwardly said that. How we can explain that to children, how we can explain to old age, that is a matter of realization. Okay, 26. Mumukshavo ghora rupan hitva bhuta patinatha narayana kala shanta bhajanti anusuyavaha. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious. So this is another very, very important character, right? Non-envious. We should not be envious about anybody. What is envy? Why somebody has something better, or why him, why not me? All this is envy. So we should certainly be non-envious. We should never look at anybody and compare, saying that if in our mind any thought comes saying that that person is better, that person is getting favored, anything comparative between me and somebody else, that is envy. And they respect all. And this particular instruction, if we can't follow this, we will not make progress in bhakti. Very, very important. And unfortunately for us, we will be stuck with some relations. And this I am experiencing, which will test us on this on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis. It could be our spouse, it could be our in-laws, it could be a brother or a sister or children, somebody, or maybe more than one person, will force us to not respect them. As in, situations will be created such that we will not respect them. But we should understand, if we don't respect them, we will not make progress. Okay. So those serious about liberation are non-envious. They respect all. See, these are those I keep saying gems, practical, things that we need to apply. And if we apply these in our life, we will make progress. Yet they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. Of course, here not all forms of the demigods are ghastly. So here specifically, Shukadeva Goswami is referring to some of the ghastly forms like Kala Bhairava, Smashana Bhairava, Shani, Mahakali, and Chandika. Prabhupada is writing in the purport. These demigods are worshipped mostly by those who are in the lowest categories, Tamoguna. Other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha are worshipped, etc., are worshipped by men in the mode of goodness. Sorry, men in the mode of passion. Urged on by desire for material enjoyment. Why do they worship these? Because they want material desires. But those who are actually situated in the mode of goodness worship only Vishnu Tattva. So this is one. Second thing, highly qualified Brahmanas situated in mode of goodness, they have no grudges against the modes of worship. See, this is also very, very important. We should not look at somebody who is stuck with demigod worship and look down upon them. They are for whatever reason in that stage in their journey where they have to first put their minds to demigod worship. Then those by demigod worship, first they'll come to understand, saying that okay, there is a superior power than me. And then by the worship of the demigod, slowly, and they will become more receptive to spiritual knowledge. So two things might happen. One is they might come in touch with devotees and they will get influenced by devotees, which is why mostly we try to do programs in temples, because people who come to temples are slightly more sattvic. At least some aspect of their life is sattvic. The other thing is these demigods will also eventually push them towards Krishna. Especially happens with Shiva and Parvati. Especially, they bring devotees to Krishna consciousness, and other demigods also. Slowly, these souls will make progress towards Krishna. So we should not deride them. We should not look down upon them. And we should have all respect for demigods, even though they may look ghastly. So whether attractive feature or non-attractive feature, we don't disrespect any demigod. At the same time, we don't have to worship them, because Krishna clearly says it's avidhi purvakam in Bhagavad Gita, and we concentrate only on forms of Vishnu. Of course, in our Acharya Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, not even forms of Vishnu, only Radha and Krishna. That's again a matter of maturity in devotional life. Many devotees are attracted to Vishnu. It's fine. They want to, worship Vishnu, Balaji. It's fine. Absolutely nothing wrong. But slowly we should then understand where we stand. Are we planning to go to Vaikuntha? Are we attracted by Krishna? If you are attracted by Krishna, then if you are worshipping Vishnu and Krishna equally, then sometime we have to figure out, where nothing is wrong. It's just about what we want, whether we desire to go to Vaikuntha and serve Vishnu, or whether we go to Goloka and want to serve Krishna. That will become clear over a period of time. We don't have to, again, worry about it, right? Automatically, it will become more clear for us. The important point here is non-envious, respect all jivas, definitely respect all demigods, but focus on Vishnu. Rajastama prakritaya samasheela bhajanti vai Pitrubhuta Prajeshadin Shriyaishwarya Prajepsavaha. Those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance worship those in the same category, namely the forefathers, other living entities, demigods who are in charge of cosmic activities. For they are urged by a desire to be materially benefited with women, wealth, power, progeny. So it is known fact that, worshipping these demigods for material benefits. And Prabhupada makes some three solid statements in the purport. While the verse seems like known knowledge, Prabhupada is saying material enjoyment should be accepted only up to the point of bare necessities of life, not more or less. Should be accepted only up to the point of bare necessities of life, not more, not less. Why not more? Because then we will become more engaged, engrossed in that. Why less? Then we'll keep thinking about it. Oh, I didn't get it. I want. So it should not be more or less. So it should just be as much as it is required. Because if we keep doing more, then our bare necessities level will keep increasing. So we should know what our bare necessities are, and we should just stick to that. And yes, there is license, and especially in Grihastha life, there is license for enjoyment, but controlled sense enjoyment. The aim of life is to end the miseries of life and not to increase them. Again, I mean, like mind-boggling sentence. Aim of life is to end the miseries and not to increase them. And mostly whatever we do in our life, mostly it increases our miseries, either in this life or next. Prabhupada says so many times, right? Like these cars, petroleum, it's creating miseries for us. AC, this artificial way of living is creating difficulties for us, right? So we try to solve one problem, create 10 other problems. So we should know that, and this Shreyas and Prayas, we should always be very clear. Shreyas is long-term benefit, Prayas is short-term. So we should always be looking for Shreyas, not Prayas. And one should work hard and worship the Supreme Lord by fruit of one's labor. So very clear how to deal with material life. Don't get too much, just take up bare necessities. Aim should be to reduce miseries and not increase them. And most material activities just increase our misery. And third, work and worship. Use the fruits to worship the Supreme Lord. Simple. Okay, this is beautiful. 28, 29. Vasudeva para Veda, Vasudeva para Makha, Vasudeva para Yoga, Vasudeva para Kriyaha, Vasudeva param Gnanam, Vasudeva param Tapaha, Vasudeva paro Dharmo, Vasudeva paragati. Everything is Vasudeva. The ultimate object of knowledge is Vasudeva. Purpose of performing sacrifices is to please him. So purpose of sacrifices is Vasudeva. Purpose of yoga is to realize him. Purpose of all fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him. Vasudeva param gnanam. He is the supreme knowledge. Vasudeva param tapaha. He is the absolute austerities, all austerities to know him. Vasudeva paro dharmo. Dharma, rendering loving service, is to him, is the paradharma. And Vasudeva paragatihi. He is the supreme goal of life. So everything is Vasudeva. There's nothing apart from Vasudeva. So this is very, very important. So Prabhupada, actually, this purport is nice. You should all read this. Prabhupada discusses each and every aspect. Shastra, Shruti, Smriti, Yagna. So we should do Sankirtana Yagna. Then tapas, yoga. Yoga means connecting with the Lord. So we should do bhakti yoga. Then tapas, he says, what is tapas? Tapas means voluntary acceptance of bodily pains to achieve higher end of life, which is to know Vasudeva, not for material gains. This is also very important. Today is Ekadashi. People ask, what is the significance of Ekadashi? What will we get? I said, Krishna Bhakti. No, Gita Mahatmya says that if you do this, you will get this benefit, that material benefit. Why are we interested in this? We are not doing Karma Kanda. We are not doing Ekadashi for Karma Kanda. We are doing Ekadashi to become dearer to Krishna. So all Ekadashi, it's only one fruit to become dear to Krishna. That is tapasya, not for any other intention, not for any other goal. And with respect to miseries of life, Prabhupada says, passion and ignorance cannot end the miseries of life. It will only increase. Only mode of goodness can end miseries of life. Just with respect to the previous verse. So everything is Vasudeva. Everything is Vasudeva. Everything must be done with an intention to please Vasudeva. If you're getting knowledge, then we should get knowledge to understand Vasudeva. If you're doing austerities, we should do to please him. If you're doing dharma, it should be to please him, which is devotional service. So like this, everything that we do in our life should be Vasudeva, should be for Vasudeva, should be for the pleasure of Vasudeva. We should understand. Okay. स एवेदं ससर्जाग्रे भगवानात्ममायया सदसद्रूपया चासौ गुणमया गुणो विभुः. In the beginning of material creation, the absolute person of Godhead, Vasudeva, in his transcendental position, created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. So Vasudeva is also Vishe Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudeva. But Vasudeva is not Krishna. In one sense, yes, in another sense, is not. Because from Krishna, Balaram, from Balaram, Chaturvyuha, Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Niruddha. So that Vasudeva is Sarva Vyapi, present everywhere. So it's called Vasudeva. But also another meaning of Vasudeva is Vasudeva's son, which refers to Krishna. So technically, this whole creating the energies of cause and effect is Vasudeva, not Nandanandana Krishna. But because Vasudeva comes from Nandanandana Krishna, we can say it is also Krishna. But technically it is Vasudeva. So that is why Prabhupada here says Vasudeva. And so he created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal energy. So cause and effect is required for what? For this whole material creation. So this whole material creation is a combination of cause and effect, which means that we do something, we get a result. Then we have to experience the result. Then when we experience the result, we do something else. And like this, it just keeps going on and we are entangled. तया विलसितेष्वेषु गुणेषु गुणवानिव अंतःप्रविष्ट आभाति विज्ञानेन विजृंभितः. After creating the material substance, Lord Vasudeva expands himself and enters into it. And although he is within the material modes of nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. So we'll discuss more about this creation in the second and third canto. So I won't go into too much details now, but we should understand one thing. Vasudeva creates the material substance and he expands and enters into it. If he doesn't enter into it, material world will not come into existence. So we will discuss this when we discuss creation. So it's a very detailed and technical process how creation happens. But ultimately it is Vasudeva, because without Vasudeva there's no material creation. Yata hi avahito vahnir darushveka swayonishu naneva bhati vishvatma bhuteshu cha tatha puman. The Lord as super soul pervades all things, just as fire permeates wood. And so he appears to be of many varieties. Thou is the absolute one without a second. He appears to be of many varieties because we see so many different varieties around us. But all those varieties are ultimately Krishna only, because everything comes from him. So we should not see anything which is not in connection with Krishna. We should not see anything as different from Krishna. Everything is Krishna. Achintya Beda Beda. So he is there in a spiritual world, in his Goloka, but he is also there here because he enters each and every atom, and without his presence, nothing can exist. So everything is Krishna. And Prabhupada says here, all these topics have to be heard and understood under the guidance of spiritual master, otherwise we can't understand. for us, Shiksha Guru Prabhupada, we have to read these purports and only then we can understand this. Asau gunamayer bhavair bhuta sukshmendriyatmabhihi nirmiteshu nirvishto bhunkte bhuteshu tadgunan. The super soul enters into the bodies of created beings who are influenced by the modes of material nature and causes them to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. Okay, a very important statement Prabhupada makes in the purport here. He says, one enjoys the effects of the modes by the subtle mind. So this is not real. Whatever we are seeing as enjoyment is just mental concoction. Please understand this. Suppose we are eating something and we feel it is nice, it is just mental concoction. Just the mind that is saying this is nice. And mind sometimes says this is not nice. And just it is mental concoction. So all our happiness is just, it's a state of mind. And the gross body is based on the conditions of subtle mind. That is why this mind is so important that Krishna in Bhagavad Gita says, mind, if uncontrolled, is your enemy. And mind has to be directed based on the principles of Shastra. So we should understand all this is simply mind play. Simply mind play. If we think something is good, it is good. If we think something is not good, it is not good. So for all this, we should base it on Guru Sadhu Shastra, and that is how we should gain that spiritual knowledge. Mind should be guided by spiritual knowledge. And for this, we require spiritual strength. Otherwise, mind is very, very stubborn. And how do we get spiritual strength? By practice of sadhana bhakti. We get spiritual strength, we get spiritual knowledge, we get spiritual strength, so that then we can control and guide the mind to not do nonsense. Otherwise, it's all just a state of mind. So we should not take anything material too seriously. It's just a state of mind. The Lord as Paramatma helps the living being to get material happiness because the living being is helpless in all respects in obtaining whatever it desires. So for whatever we want to get, we say, oh, I did this, I managed to get this. No, it is the Lord. If Paramatma doesn't help us, we can't get anything. We are helpless. Man proposes, God disposes. Man says, I want this, God will facilitate that. And Krishna will facilitate anything. If you want to go and fall into a well, he'll facilitate that also. One very important statement Prabhupada is saying here. Sufferings and enjoyments of living beings, because living beings are considered as sons of Krishna, are indirectly the sufferings and enjoyments of the Lord, who is the Father. So the Paramatma is so kind that he's always trying to convert living beings towards the real happiness. So we should understand that when we suffer, Krishna is also suffering. And we should then understand, how do I stop this suffering? Because I don't want Krishna to suffer because of me. So I will simply follow Guru Sadhu. Very, very important. All these points are, we should keep meditating on these. How that it's all of, it's not like Krishna is some insensitive, some big power who's sitting by himself, not bothered about us. No, he's absolutely bothered, concerned. That is why he sent Paramatma to help us. If he was not concerned about us, why would he give us help? People say, no, why Krishna is not helping me? Why he is not helping? As Paramatma is helping in everything that we want. Just that we want to desire some nonsense. That he gives Shastra, gives sends devotees to correct us, but we are stubborn. We're stubborn fools. What can be done? And he feels for us. He feels, oh, so sorry that this person is falling. It's all the mind. Bhavayatyesha satvena lokan vailoka bhavana leelavatarana leelavatarānurato Devatriyan Naradishu. Thus the Lord of the universe maintains all planets inhabited by demigods, men and lower animals. Assuming the role of incarnations, he performed pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. Prabhupada says in the purport, happiness which the living beings are hankering for is not to be found within any corner of the innumerable universes, material planets. Eternal happiness which the living being wants is obtainable in the kingdom of God. But the forgetful living beings under the influence of material modes have no information of kingdom of God. The Lord therefore comes to propagate the message of kingdom of God, either personally as an incarnation or through his bona fide representative as a good son of God. Such incarnations or sons of God are not making propaganda for going back to Godhead only within human society. Their work is also going on in all types of societies, among demigods and those other than human beings. So we want happiness, but that eternal happiness is available only in kingdom of God. So we have to develop attraction to go to kingdom of God. We should develop attraction to Krishna. We should develop attraction to Goloka. How do we develop attraction? By hearing. By hearing from pure devotees, we will develop the desire. Like yesterday we said, we will, their qualities will rub off on us. We will develop those qualities. With this beautiful second chapter, divinity and divine service, comes to an end. Next chapter is like Shukadeva Goswami just said, Lord takes many incarnations. So next chapter is full about all incarnations of Krishna. So it's so beautiful, one shot. If somebody wants to remember all the incarnations, of course, it's innumerable, it's countless. But actually, Phalashruti of this third chapter is that somebody who narrates this day and night will develop love for Krishna. So actually it says, it is all successful, all blissful, all perfect. Anyway, we will come to that. Okay, so we will end here for today. We finished chapter 2. If anybody has any questions, and Bhāgavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, any guidance as to how we should learn chanting, like Bhagavad Gita, chanting of Bhagavad Gita? Like
chanting of verses.
Yes.
Yeah. How, in the sense you are asking about pronunciation, meter?
Yes, but the way you do it with so much ease. So
that's just a matter of practice. That's
okay.
it's a matter of practice. We keep repeating it again and again, then we become. See, first thing is at the end of Bhagavad Gita, there is a guide. Okay, so there are two or 2-3 ways to read, right? As in, some people are comfortable with Devanagari script. They can comfortably read Devanagari, right? Not an issue. For many, Devanagari is difficult. Devanagari is a Sanskrit writing, right? For others, suppose say they're reading in a local language, then they will read in the local language. Whatever, Kannada, Hindi, Telugu, etc. Now, for others who cannot do either, I was in this bucket when I came to Krishna consciousness. So then I picked up reading transliteration, the English. Now we should just know how to. So we should know what these are. Like, for example, dash upon A is A, right? Dot below is Shankasha. Sorry, Shanmukasha. Right. So here you can see here. Esha, this is Shanmukasha. So in Sanskrit, there is Shankasha, which is Shiva. And there is Shanmuka, which is Bhiksha. Bhiksha, small sha, Alpa and Maha. So we should know this, saying that this dot below is Shanmukasha. So when we pronounce it is Esha, cha, right? Then Aha, whenever there is a dot below H, it's Aha. This guide is there at the end of Bhagavad Gita to understand. If suppose we are reading from English, then we should know, because these are not normal English alphabets. All these I with dash is dirgha, E, Li, La. So these things, N, N, all these things we can just see the guide at the end of Bhagavad Gita, then we will understand how to pronounce.
Okay.
Now, fluency of pronunciation obviously will, because we are not used to reading these. So initially we might read this as Bhavayati, because we will not realize that there is a dash, so it is A. Or Esha, we might read as Esa, because we'll just see the S. So then slowly we'll keep correcting those. And any shloka, we should read 3 times. First, we read each and every word. Bhavayati, Esha, Satvena, Lokan, Vai, Loka, Bhavanaha, Leelavatārānu Ratho. So when this is very long, then we read slowly. I'm just showing you. Leelavatārānu Ratho. Then when we become experienced in the Leelavatārānu Ratho, we will not have to go slowly. Deva Tiryan Naradishu. Then we will join. Bhavayatyeshastvena, because Ye and E, we will come to know that this is Yesha. Bhavayatyeshastvena lokan vai loka bhavanaha. Leelavatārana taruno rato deva tiryan naradishu. So it's a matter of practice, but this you should know. Those who are reading from here, it's pretty simple. And those who are reading local language also. Yeah, but one problem with reading Sanskrit is sometimes, like long words will be there. Sometimes one full line is one word. In English, what they've done is sometimes they have broken it up, right? The sandhis and tamasas, they've broken. So it becomes slightly easier to read, but I would still prefer this. If those who can read, please read from that, because reading this is useful, because one thing is, whenever there are any verses in the purport, Prabhupada he has printed in transliteration, so they're not giving Devanagari, right? So if you're reading Devanagari, then English will also be required. But if you're reading a local language book, then no issue, because the verses will also be in the local language.
And Prabhu, since all the translations of the words are also given, so is it necessary that we read the translation and try to understand the translation and read, or how was it done? Because I'm just getting confused with that.
That's okay, because see, that is actually slightly more scholarly for scholarly devotees. Like, see, what will happen, no, as we progress in Krishna consciousness, when we read this Tatvena, we would like to know what this Tatvena means. Initially we might not have this desire. Initially we'll read the translation and we go on. Like for me, I mean, at least I like to understand some of these words, right? Because it helps actually. See, the Sanskrit is such a natural language for us in India, that if you actually understand the Sanskrit, it is easier to go into the mood of the verse more deeper. So sometimes it helps, but sometimes we also see that synonym is translated differently. Translation, some other words have been used. So this is called paraphrasing, right? The acharyas know what is the intent, so they will present it. So we should not get stuck with this. Don't worry about synonyms for now. I would just suggest read the verse, read the translation purport, and focus on the message, right? See, initially we should focus on the message. And like I said, when we are reading any translation purport, there are 2 things. One is knowledge, the other is application. And so we should make note of what is. Okay, let me show you my notes from which I keep reading in the middle of the class. I'm not going to share this, obviously, because I want all of you to prepare your own notes. So, but this is my notes. Okay, so here, for example, you see there are some color codes. Like there is dark, then there is red, and then there is italicized, then there is normal font. Now, all of these have different things. Like this means for class. This is for telling others. But I know this myself, as in for my personal application, but I might not remember to put it as part of that verse. So I make a point, note that point, but I say this is for class. this which is non-bold is important, but it's not like critical. Important. This is for personal application that I have to come to Shuddha Sattva, but it's not very critical because I know, and it'll take some time to practice it. Now that in dark bold is absolutely critical, right? Meaning these, I would like to remember these instructions. Red is even more important like that. So I have collaborated it myself. So if you see, one is for personal application, another is for just knowledge to share with others. Then there are more serious aspects of personal application, immediately important. So our focus when we are reading is to come up with this for ourselves, and each of our notes can be different, right? Because each of us are in our own stages of progress. But we should make this. So that should be the focus. We should not get too stuck with, Sanskrit or anything else at this point of time. Those things will come up later. When we are comfortable with the content, we are able to apply that in our life. Then we can slowly, we will move towards other things slowly over a period of time. Takes years of sadhana.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, you can go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Mataji. So, Prabhuji, I have one question. Now, from the other class, the other day, you said why we should worry about the future, because God is there to help us, God is there to guide us. Just go in the path, lead the present. So you go in that path, your thought is exactly the same way, but you have people around who force you, telling that you're not doing it in the right way. I'm again with more aligned with the kids, because we as a family and as a mother, we are more aligned. When you say, you know that they are going in the right path, and you know you're trying them to bring to the path of Lord Krishna, you don't have to worry. But there are others in your sources, because you are leading a family, they're forcing you, like how you can be ignorant. Just going in this path will not help. There are future that needs to be decided. There are future that need to be done. Look at the societies. There are so many threats in the society. You need to ensure that kids are aware of that. So when these kind of things are being forced, and because you are as a parent not a single decision maker, and you are, I mean, hope you are understanding where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
How to avoid these things? It really hurts because you are trying.
Conflicts.
Yeah, a lot of conflicts. So how to come out of this, Guruji?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, first and easiest solution is for the whole family to remain Krishna consciousness, especially husband and wife. Now, obviously, when that is not the case, we end up with these kind of challenging situations. Now, see, here there are two things we should understand. One is we should have, we should not be my way or highway, right? If we are very stubborn-minded about things, then it will affect, spoil our family relations, etc. Right? Now, we should know what to give, what to take. Okay, so this is a little bit of skill, right? So if you have 10 things, and we do this all the time in our life, right? We give and take, which means that we give things that are not very important for us and make others feel like, see, I'm given it. I'm doing what you're doing. But take those which are absolutely critical, right? Okay. And and because you are asking, I'm saying for Mataji specifically, there is and I keep saying this, Bhagavatam is full of such examples, how you can mold the mind of husbands. And it's a skill. It's a skill again. Right? But what we have been taught in Kali Yuga is fight it. Fight it is not going to help. Right? We can't fight our way through relations. We can't fight our way through these things. So what we should do is we should know what to give, what to take. Right? So some simple things, some things like, for example, okay, worrying about future. Now, if somebody feels comfortable worrying about the future, we'll let them worry. Right? And you say, okay, what you want to do? want to do this, okay, fine. Now, as long as it is not creating us from the path of Krishna consciousness, giving this for somebody and making them feel happy is okay. Right? Like, for example, somebody is saying, okay, no, we have to educate the children about the issues of in modern world. Absolutely. Even from Krishna conscious perspective, we will say that, but when we make them aware, we will make them aware why also these things are the way they are, because people are not Krishna conscious. So we'll achieve both. We'll give them an awareness of the world, but at the same time, we'll give them a Krishna conscious perspective. So we achieve both intent goals. Right? Somebody says, okay, no, we have to plan for future. Okay, fine. We can just surrender. See, I don't have much capability to plan for the future. You please plan and you tell me, I will stick to it. I will follow it. Okay, what is it? Tomorrow, what is going to happen is not in our hands. So if somebody is saying that, okay, children are in whatever, 7th standard, 4th standard. Okay, now after 10th standard, we have to do this. Okay, 10th standard is 3 years away. Who knows what is going to happen? What is our loss in just saying, okay, TK? Nothing. We don't lose anything, because either way, whether we say yes or whether we say no, whatever is going to happen will happen. It's not doesn't depend on whether it's not like, oh, today I said yes, so Krishna is going to make it happen. It's not like that, right? Anyway, it is going to transpire. Whatever is going to happen will happen. It will be revealed at that point of time. Why fret over it? So, TK, you don't plan. Somebody says you want to plan. You say, okay, please be happy if you can do this, because I'm not very good at it. Plan. Okay, fine. Noted. I mean, I have practical experience with this, because, keep planning. Okay, my daughter is now, she was in 10. Then we said, okay, she has to do this, she has to do that. But at that time when the decision had to happen, some things just happen. It's not in our control, really. It just is based on previous karma, or if we are fully surrendered, Krishna just maneuvers our life in a direction that he wants, and that's it. So what is our loss in just saying yes? Okay, plan. Okay. So I'm saying you give those, and you people, the other person should feel non-conflicted, right? So it's easy. It just requires a little bit of sattva guna. I realize this because I've also been, for a major part of my life, rajoguna. So in rajoguna, we will always in confronting mode. In sattva guna, we'll just simply hear and we'll think, what is the best way of handling this? And we will just speak such that, we will just, because clarity of thought becomes very, very clear what we need to do. And then it's easier to deal with people and situations.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat Mataji.
Thank you so much for enlightening on the process of chanting, Prabhuji. Since 2 years I have been chanting, but I used to do this mistake, Prabhuji, like remembering the pastimes of the Lord while chanting, more than hearing. So thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to know, Prabhuji, on Ekadashi days, like I have a dilemma whether to fast or not. I'm not having that consistent mind. No, I should fast.
Ekadashi, you have to fast. There's no question of not fasting. I mean, fast means, see, basically it depends on our body condition. Absolutely, if abstaining from grains, there's no question of not following that. Actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told, right, Sachimata, because Sachimata was not following Ekadashi. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying that, I'll request only one thing from you, please follow Ekadashi. And then Sachimata, from then on, she starts following Ekadashi. So Ekadashi is extremely dear to Krishna. So come what may, unless we are dying, we should follow Ekadashi. Now in Ekadashi, what do we follow? Ekadashi Upavasa means actually sitting nearer to Krishna. That is the goal, which means that more hearing, more chanting, more Krishna conscious. Now, with respect to eating process, no grains, but it's not like we don't have to eat. Some people do nirjal, their body is very strong. Great, but the body deteriorates. We have to respect our body, and we don't keep punishing our body beyond what it can take, because then it'll crumble. Some people can just manage with water. Some people can manage with fruits. Some people will eat whatever varais, sabudana, etc. Whatever, right? Non-grain. It's fine. But please follow, because there's no question of eating grains. Eating grains, we'll go to hell. This is Purana. Okay, eating grains on Ekadashi, we will go to hell. So we don't want to. I mean, we're doing so many things. Why unnecessarily? And then Krishna will have to then make special, concession for us. Saying, okay, at the time, everything we've done, everything we didn't follow Ekadashi for many years. Krishna has to say, okay, now I have to take away all this papa sins. So we want Krishna to do special concession to us. No, we'll follow whatever he's saying. We'll follow.
Thank you, Prabhuji. And
Yeah.
what are the qualities of Sattva Guna, Prabhuji? Could you please?
No, okay, it's a long list. So you should read 17th, 16th, 17th, 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita very closely.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Then, doctor.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anybody?
Actually, Prabhu, they say that senior citizens, it's not required
Who
to
are they?
fast.
Who are
No,
they?
generally, that is the awareness that is
The first thing
created.
that I ask, right? First thing, if they don't have spiritual knowledge, then forget about they. Don't worry
Because
about
we
they.
read, right? We read in newspapers, we read here, we read there. They say like, fasting for people over 60 is difficult and it is not recommended and it doesn't
No,
affect
fasting means full fasting cannot be done maybe, right? See, Mataji, we should understand one thing, right? Simple thing I say, blood pressure, blood sugar. Is it same for everybody?
No.
Simple, no? How can a newspaper say that? And this is the problem with today's allopathy system, right? Now, it says, okay, blood pressure means it has to be this much only. How can it be this much only? Everybody eats differently. Everybody has a different lifestyle. Everybody has different thought process, and blood sugar will be different. Blood pressure will be different. That's why in Ayurveda, there's nothing like a range. Ayurveda, everything is about whether is there a problem. Okay, your sugar is fine. High, okay, that's fine. But what is the problem? Is there a health problem? Otherwise, your body generating so much sugar, it's fine. So it's all personalized. It's to eat in each individual. If I can, that's why I said, don't trouble the body. You as an individual should know how much your body can take. Give it so much. Don't unnecessarily. So tapasya means doing slightly more than what we can. Slightly more. For example, I'm giving just this example of lifting weight, right? Somebody lifts 5 kgs, but he can lift 6 kgs. It's not going to be a big problem, right? But if he lifts 10 kgs, then he'll crumble. So we should just know how much we can, and we should slightly push ourselves, nudge ourselves to do slightly more, going slightly beyond our comfort zone. That is tapasya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, since we're talking about Ekadashi, I just thought I'll share my own experience. So before even I starting fasting, right? So I'm a foodie. I like a lot of cuisines and a lot of dishes. Like that. That's how my mind was. And the moment I started actually following Ekadashi, my cravings to food have come down a lot.
Very good.
A lot. So I mean, that was one motivation for me to understand that how maybe we can control ourselves is what was my realization through Ekadashi.
Yeah, I mean, mainly because Ekadashi is pleasing to Krishna. So it's a benefit, his mercy that you're able to control. It's not by the practical process of just abstaining from food. If you simply try to abstain from food on other days, or people who are not practicing bhakti or try to abstain from food, their craving will increase. So your craving has decreased because it's the mercy of the Lord. You're trying to please him.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Usually we try to connect with Lord Krishna in any one of the rasas, primary rasas. So is it wrong in initial stage? Because it is said that we shouldn't imitate ragatmikas. So will it be that? Imitating ragatmikas?
No, we should just be natural to our current state. If we feel that I am just servant of Krishna, Krishna is Supreme Lord, he is my master, and I have to serve him in the mode of a servant, that's my current mood, that's my current mood. You don't worry about Madhurya, Rasa. So we serve in the mood that we are in. We don't artificially try to develop any of this. It's a matter of,
but spontaneously we feel like
no spontaneous, Mataji. At this stage, when I'm at least talking about myself. I don't know how advanced you are, but for me, I am following Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means following rules and regulations, and in Vaidhi Bhakti, the mood is I am servant of Krishna. When we come to Raga Anuga Bhakti, automatically the Guru will reveal what our mood is, and it will get revealed in our heart. And it's a different process altogether. We should not worry about it. We can have spontaneity in the sense I feel like doing something nice for Krishna. That is spontaneity. That is, but in the mode of servitude only, right? That spontaneity is good because that will bring us to higher rasas gradually, right? But spontaneity not to follow rules is sahajiya. Okay, I'm repeating this again. Spontaneity not to follow rules.